A friend in need is a friend indeed. Once upon a time there lived a lion in a forest. One day after a heavy meal, it was sleeping under a tree. After a while, there came a mouse and it started to play on the lion. Suddenly the lion got up with anger and looked for those who disturbed its nice sleep. Then it saw a small mouse standing trembling with fear. The lion jumped on it and started to kill it. The mouse requested the lion to forgive it. The lion felt pity and left it. The mouse ran away. On another day, the lion was caught in a net by a hunter. The mouse came there and cut the net. Thus it escaped. Thereafter, the mouse and the lion became friends. They lived happily in the forest afterwards. Elephant and friends. One day an elephant wandered into a forest in search of friends. He saw a monkey on a tree. "Will you be my friend?" asked the elephant. Replied the monkey, "You are too big. You cannot swing from trees like me." Next, the elephant met a rabbit. He asked him to be his friends. But the rabbit said, "You are too big to play in my burrow." Then the elephant met a frog. "Will you be my friend?" he asked. "How can I?" asked the frog. "You are too big to leap about like me." The elephant was upset. He met a fox next. "Will you be my friend?" he asked the fox. The fox said, "Sorry, sir, you are too big." The next day, the elephants saw all the animals in the forest running for their lives. The elephant asked them what the matter was. The bear replied, "There is a deer in the forest. He's trying to gobble us all up." The animals all ran away to hide. The elephant wondered what he could do to solve everyone in the forest. Meanwhile, the tiger kept eating up whoever he could find.
Foolish monkeys. Before several centuries, there was a very large, dense and dark forest. A group of monkeys arrived at the forest. It was winter season, and the monkeys struggled hard to survive the freezing cold nights. They were hunting for fire to get warm. One night, they saw a firefly and considered it a dab of fire. All the monkeys in the group shouted, "Fire, fire, fire! Yeah, we got fire!" A couple of monkeys tried to catch the firefly and it escaped. They were sad as they could not catch the fire. They were talking to themselves that they couldn't live in the cold if they didn't get the fire. The next night, again they saw many fireflies. After several attempts, the monkeys caught a few fireflies. They put the fireflies in a hole dug in the land and tried to blow the flies. They blew the flies very hard without knowing the fact that they were flies. An owl was watching the activities of the monkeys. The owl reached the monkeys and told them, "Hey, those are not fire. They are flies. You won't be able to make fire from it." The monkeys laughed at the owl. One monkey replied the owl, "Hey old owl, you don't know anything about how to make fire. Don't disturb us." The owl warned the monkeys again and asked them to stop their foolish act. "Monkeys, you cannot make fire from the flies. Please hear my words." The monkeys tried to make fire from the flies. The owl told them again to stop their foolish act. "You are struggling so much, go take your shelter in a nearby cave. You can save yourself from the freezing cold. You won't get fire." One monkey shouted at the owl and the owl left the place. The monkeys were simply doing the foolish activity for several hours and it was almost midnight. They were very tired and realized that the words of the owl were correct and they were trying to blow a fly. They sheltered themselves at the cave and escaped from the cold. We may go wrong many times and should seek and accept the advice, suggestions provided by others.
The apple tree and the farmer. Once upon a time, there lived a farmer in a village, beside a forest. He had a big garden that had an old apple tree and other plants, trees, and beautiful flowers. When the farmer was a little boy, he spent much of his time playing with the apple tree. Those days, the apple tree had given the choicest of apples to him. However, as time passed, the apple tree became old and stopped bearing fruits. Now that the farmer was not getting any apples from the tree, he decided that the tree was useless. Therefore, he decided to cut the tree and use its wood to make some new furniture. He felt that since the tree was old and huge, he did not have to cure it, and it would make great furniture. He forgot that as a boy, he had spent his entire childhood climbing the tree and eating its apples. Now the apple tree was home to several little animals in the neighborhood. This included squirrels, sparrows, and a huge variety of birds and insects. When the farmer took his axe and began chopping the tree, all the little animals came rushing down. They all began to plead with the farmer. They gathered round the farmer and said, "Please don't cut the tree. We used to play with you when you were small, under this very tree. This is our home and we have no other place to go." The farmer was adamant. He raised his axe and the commotion grew. "Please don't chop and destroy my home and kids," cried the squirrel. "Please don't chop and destroy my nest," cried the little birds. "Please don't cut the apple tree," cried the grasshopper. The farmer, however, forgot his childhood and his animal friends. He began to chop the tree harder. All the little animals became desperate and wanted to protect the apple tree at any cost. The little animals said, "We will sing for you when you are toiling away in the fields. We will look after your little boy. He will not cry, but instead will be entertained and happy. You will like our songs and will not feel tired." However, their cries for help fell on deaf ears. Despite all their requests, the farmer continued to chop down the tree. All of a sudden, he noticed something shiny. On inspecting it, he realized that it was a beehive, full of honey. He took a little and put it in his mouth. The taste of the honey woke up the little boy in him. Suddenly, the memories of his childhood came rushing back. The honey tasted so good that he wanted more. It brought a sense of happiness to him. He smiled and exclaimed, "This tastes amazing." Realizing the change in the farmer's attitude, the little animals spoke in unison. The bee said, "I will always provide you with sweet honey." The squirrel said, "I will share any amount of nuts that you want." The birds cried, "We will sing as many songs as you want." Finally, the farmer realized his folly and put down his axe. He understood that the tree was home to many lovely animals that provided him with so many things. He wanted his little boy to have the childhood that he had. The farmer realized that the apple tree was not that fruitless. The little boy in him saved the apple tree. He threw away the axe and said to the little creatures, "I promised that I would never cut this tree. I have realized my mistake and you all can now live in peace and harmony." The little creatures thanked the bee profusely. If the farmer had not found the beehive, they would have been homeless by now. They continued living happily in the old apple tree. Moral: each and every living thing in nature is of some use. We should not destroy any living thing.